On today's ride, I'm really hoping I can do this justice. A good friend of mine asked me to help escort the Vietnam Memorial Wall, and honestly, I didn't know what to expect. As the miles rolled by, the weight of what this ride truly meant began to settle in. The heaviness, the honor, and the deep respect for the soldiers who gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country and never made it home created some incredibly powerful moments of reflection. And as I learned, this wall stands for so much more than just names etched in stone. It represents lives lived, families changed forever, and a freedom that comes at an immeasurable cost. And I know I personally haven't said it enough. So to all my friends, family, and to every man and woman who has served through the years, a debt of gratitude is owed. And I simply want to say, thank you. John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends.
We're starting here. That's our start. We're like right there.
Willow's High School.
Which is
High school that way.
that was Willow's High School that we passed.
Yeah.
On the other side of 5.
Okay. The baseball from there?
And that is that far.
That's it. Hey, too far.
So it's really
Going north or south?
we are.
There are some rides that you look forward to for the roads, the views, or the adventure. And then there are rides like this one. Today isn't about the destination. It's about remembrance. Today we ride along something sacred, the Vietnam Traveling Memorial Wall. As the miles roll beneath our tires, it's hard not to feel the weight of what this wall represents. More than 58,000 names, sons, daughters, brothers, friends. Each one a life given in service during the Vietnam War. A war that stretched from 1955 to 1975, one of the most complex and controversial conflicts in American history. But today, this ride isn't about politics. It's about the people. The rumble of these engines, it almost feels like a tribute in itself. A moving escort for those who never made the ride home. As we ride together, it seems like there's a quiet understanding among all of us. We didn't all serve, but we all owe a debt. A debt that can never truly be repaid and only remembered. The Vietnam War took place thousands of miles from home, in jungles, rice fields, and villages far from everything familiar. Many who served there were barely out of high school. Young men called into something bigger than themselves, and many never returned. When the wall stops in towns like ours, it brings these names closer. It reminds us these weren't just names in a history book. They were someone's everything. Psalms 116:15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants. Riding in this group today, it's different. There's no rush. There's no need to push the pace. Every mile feels intentional. Every turn, a reminder. We pass through towns, cars pulling over, people watching. Some waving, some place their hands over their heart. Some were even weeping. Because even now, decades later, honor still matters. Romans 13:7. Give to everyone what you owe them. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. For many Vietnam veterans, coming home wasn't what it should have been. There were no parades, no celebrations, just silence, and in a lot of times rejection. But today we ride and say what should have always been said. Thank you. Thank you to the men and women who answered the call. Thank you to the families who carried the weight back home. And especially to those who gave everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. There is a time for everything, a time to mourn, and a time to heal. Maybe that's part of what this wall does. It helps us remember, it helps us grieve, and maybe in some small way, it helps us heal. As we're coming around these last few bends, to the wall's new home for the next few days, we're left with more than just miles. We're left with perspective. We're left with gratitude, with a renewed understanding that freedom isn't free. And that cost was paid in full by the names etched in black stone. 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith.
panels, to welcome home by your community, to make certain that we never forget sacrifice that those men and women endured in going off and serving, coming back, no matter when they came home. And you guys made that special today. We had 97 escort vehicles out there today. And you know, that doesn't magically happen without the planning of many, many people. And it certainly doesn't magically happen that you get to go through all those lights and stop signs without stopping, without the law enforcement and first responders. So a round of applause to our law enforcement and our guys, the wall that heals is a 3/4 scale replica. We're going to start setting up the apex tonight, but by 2 o'clock tomorrow, there will be a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial out here. If you saw it in Willows, this is 50% bigger. It's going to fill up that entire field. And this trailer, which contains everything that we need for the week, opens up into a museum. You get to see the timeline. You get to see the items left behind at the wall. Here behind you, this first window that's here is going to be a screen of everybody from Glenn County and all the counties that touch them, whose names are on the wall. You get to see their names, their home of record, and most importantly, their photographs. On the next screen, you're going to get to see those that we honor through the In Memory program, those men and women who have come back and died after their service in Vietnam. And then we're going to open up the other 3 windows, this window and the 2 on the other side. You're going to get to see some of the 400,000 items left behind at the wall in Washington, D.C. You wouldn't get to see those if you weren't at the wall, if you were at the wall in Washington, D.C. You only get to see them when they're here at the wall that heals as it travels to your community. This exhibit will be open 24 hours a day until 2 o'clock on Sunday. We have hundreds of volunteers who have volunteered to set it up, to man it every single hour throughout the rest of the week and help us take it down on Sunday. And we couldn't do it without them. We certainly couldn't do that without the realization that Vietnam veterans created that memorial in Washington, D.C. Vietnam veterans sat up and said, we need to honor and remember those we served with. So can I have my Vietnam and Vietnam era veterans please raise your hands. Thank you very much. Welcome home.
Today, we rode in their honor, and may we never forget the price that was paid so we could be free. If this ride meant something special to you, take a moment today and remember a name and say it out loud, because as long as they're remembered, they're never truly gone. Hey, I really appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. It means a lot to me. See you next time.